mean, I feel you, but Uber was a word before.
It was a word before, but it was not meant for cabs.
Because the full word was Ubermensch, which means, the Superman. So Uber is short for that, which means this is a superior, cab providing service. So I get it. It was, you feel me? Like,
I mean, I feel you. But just like Amazon, people thought Amazon was stupid when it first came out. And then now look, that's like the richest company in the world.
But the Amazonians were very powerful women. And what happened? It turned into very powerful platform in which sellers can sell a lot of their merchandise. And look at that dude. Bezos is rich.
Bezos.
I say Bezos because it reminds me of Psych. And
Boppin'.
Yeah. But he's definitely OD rich. So it's like, usually names like people don't realize, they usually have a correlation to something very like powerful, super, at least the really big corporations. Like there's a reason why they actually hire people to create names for them, because they combine words, or maybe they shorten words that have like crazy meanings behind them.
I feel it. Like I definitely agree with you 100%. But the name is made throughout your work ethic. Like the bigger you get, the more people start to love you, then that name really starts to like stick. Like whenever you think about it, you just think whatever that name is attached to. Like Drake, before Drake became like Drake, we used to hear Drake and think of Drake Bell. Now we type in Drake anywhere and it's gonna be Canadian Drake.
Well, Drake Bell, I'll say probably like 2009, but like not even before then.
Before
then
that, 2005, 2006.
Yeah, I would think like Drake Bell, but then like when I heard Drake, I knew it wasn't Drake Bell because one, his music was never that great, to be honest with you. So I didn't think he made it. I was like, there's some other nigga named Drake, like.
I mean, but he was relatively like the biggest Drake at the time.
No, that's true.
At the time, until Drake came out in 2007 and then like made a name for himself. And okay. Pitbull, Pitbull, the artist.
Yeah,
he had an interview that said that before he became like this multi-millionaire pop star, that the dog was the first thing that came up on Google when you searched up Pitbull. Now he comes up before the dog. You feel me?
I feel you. I feel like Pitbull was smart in marketing, because Pitbulls even today are still relevant. Like I have this thing because of YouTube. You can find like trends, like trend data for Pitbull, right? So like in 2003, Pitbull wasn't searched that often. Then when you get to like 2008, 2009, the search for Pitbull increases, not necessarily because of the artist, but Pitbull dogs. The whole Pitbull's a mean, angry, blah blah blah. It's actually smart. So if he names himself Pitbull, that means you're right. At first, he wasn't the first one to pop up, but people will start associating him with the actual Pitbull, and then eventually, that's how you take over the association game. But Pitbull is also a very powerful name though, because they're very, very powerful dogs. So it's also, like I said, smart marketing is in your name too. That's kind of what I did with the channel. I was like, alternative factuals. That was when, Donald Trump kept saying, those alternative facts, whatever. And I was like, what if I say alternative factuals? That was the most highest search thing on YouTube. You search alternative factuals now, I'm the first one, because instead of people correlating it to Donald Trump, now they correlate it to my channel.
Yeah.
You feel me? So like you gotta pick like a very powerful phrase or word or something that's like very dominant, and then like consume it, take it over, and that's usually how you can like get a good response for like names. So that's a nice little trick. But anyways, welcome to the After Factuals podcast. I don't know, I'm probably gonna change the name. I don't know what the name is yet, but I wanted to make sure I kept my promises to my subscribers. You already know who I am. I run this channel. It's a lot more chill podcast, something to get an insight into my life, my behind the scenes thought processes. Then I got my boy Mike here. This is my homeboy. This is the one who I share the music, and y'all was like, oh, I'm fucking with the music, whatever, like blah 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 and all that stuff. Like, this is my boy here. There's some of the music I throw into the video so y'all can kind of listen to. Go ahead, tell him. Go ahead, give him a little something. Like, go ahead, give him a little something. Like a little something. Like.
Hey guys, what's up?
All right, don't be corny.
I appreciate
you acting right now.
I mean, I don't know how to. What other greeting can I give them that would be suitable?
You'll say like,
"Hello, Earthlings."
I mean, that works too. Like, when this is chill, you ain't gonna be like, "Hello, everyone. My name is Michael, and I have a PhD in." You know, you don't gotta just chill out, just vibe.
Be like, all right, hello, Earthlings. Konnichiwa. I appreciate the feedback that I've been getting on my music from Alternative Factuals channel, aka Factuals Alternative, aka Johnson.
It's AKA Devon T. So we got
the faceless comic reviewer.
Too bad I definitely have done videos showing my face. Even though I think I changed my icon too to my face now, just so people can be like, oh, it's definitely colored. So
I'm dead. I'm so dead.
Because, like, you know, there's YouTube channels out there and they just be like, yo, like, is this person really black? Like, they might sound a little black, but like, are they really black? You know, so I was like, nah, I need to make sure people know, like, I'm black. So this is a black channel by a black person. Like, you're getting the whole colored package. So
yeah. So you definitely have like one of those voices that is just kind of like
racial.
You gotta search you up. Because you have no idea.
So I got those racially ambiguous voices. Like, he could be, but I don't know. But anyways, we have a nice little simple lineup for y'all today. And as the podcast continues throughout 2021, what I'll do is for the first 4 or 5 podcasts, they're gonna go on the channel as if they're a normal video, but obviously they'll be like maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And then at that point, I'll start to only transition the podcast over to Spotify, the Apple Podcasts, all those other platforms via Anchor. And you can also submit comments and questions via the comments in the videos, as well as you can send, I think, voice podcast questions on Anchor. So I put all those links in the description for every video, so you'll always see where you can reply. They'll be in the regular videos too. And like I said, this podcast is more of an extended version. So if I have any corrections or any behind the scenes thoughts, things that I don't put in videos, because obviously I don't want to keep you in the video for like longer than 13 minutes. This is the podcast where you can come and then I'll answer some of those questions, because obviously we have more time and it's less editing for me. I don't got to throw those panels and all that. It's a lot less work. It's easier for me to do it here. But today we are going to be covering 2 things: the Falcon and Winter Soldier, the whole Elijah Bradley situation. It's more of an opinion, not so much technical. And then we're going to be covering a little bit of something a comedian said, but it's a little bit of a conspiracy. And just something real simple, little fun. I'm into conspiracies. Anyone who's black, y'all know you're into conspiracies too. Don't even lie to yourselves. And so we just gonna vibe it out. So I wanted to start off the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing by reading a couple reviews. Apparently some people already had left reviews for the show, even though the release date was, I think, pushed back from August to it was in March, right?
Yeah. Everything got pushed back because of the pandemic.
Yeah, so there's definitely people who still left reviews for a show that has not come out yet. And even though most of them are relatively positive, there's one that's just hilarious. He's like, too much racism. Like, what does that mean? Too much. It's literally a show called The Falcon and Winter Soldier. And
my fault to cut you off. OD hard.
Nah,
but I think that maybe he felt like the black people in the show didn't get enough shine. Like maybe they centered it more around Bucky, in his opinion, instead of the Falcon.
But here's the crazy part though. Like, this dude's name is Liam, so he's a white boy. So in reality, I feel like maybe it's too centered around the Falcon.
The Falcon instead of Bucky.
And I'm just like, how is the show racist? Captain America gave him the shield. So even if it did focus on Falcon too much, why wouldn't it? By definition, right now, he's the Captain America. So why is this a problem? And this is something that pops up in a couple other comments. I think I did this when I did that Isaiah Bradley video. Some people were just like, even like we was talking about earlier, the whole Black Panther thing. Like, when people feel like black people are forced into hero positions, but they don't know this stuff happens in comics in real time because they just don't read. But, you know, I just wanted to start off the conversation with that because I find that hilarious. And it kind of segues into what we're going to be talking about. So, a lot of y'all probably already heard the news. I think this dropped, I think maybe a couple months ago. I think in like October, November. But they were saying there was some casting leaks in quotation marks because we both know leaks don't really occur without anyone's permission.
That's a fact. That's a whole fact.
So supposedly there was some casting leaks where we're going to be seeing some Isaiah Bradley, or Eli Bradley actually, who's his grandson. Now, I'm not going to get into super details about who Elijah Bradley, Eli Bradley, all that is, but basically he's a black version of Captain America. He has a variant of the super soldier serum that for the most part was relatively stable. But I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I feel like, you know, I get it's the Falcon and Winter Soldier. They have a black character, and the Falcon did have a relationship with Eli Bradley, but I want to know what's his purpose. Are they going to use that as motivation to, you know, dethrone him as Captain America? I don't know, but I ain't going to get some details now. Like I said, I'll give, you know, Mike an opportunity to give his opinion. You know, this is just how he feels and how he feels about the, you know, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know, show or whatever like that. But I don't know. Me personally, I'm not too crazy about it. How do you feel about it? I don't know. I really don't care, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, me either. I mean, I just feel like as long as it makes sense. Like, I don't want it to be forced. Like, I don't want to throw this guy in, like, in the first season, and then by the end of the first season, he's the new Captain America, and they didn't even give Falcon a chance to, like, truly be Captain America. So, like, as long as it's not forced, I think I'm perfectly fine with it. Like, maybe, like, in a couple seasons, and then at the end, maybe they give him, like, his own, like, standalone movie or something. Like, something like that, I wouldn't be too mad at, but I'm not waiting for this. Like, I'm not, like, you know, like, at the edge of my seat for this. Like, I don't mind Falcon being Captain America for the rest of Phase 4.
I honestly hope, like, them saying that they leaked the casting was because, like, he's in a flashback. If they talking about, like, you know, this is the history of, you know, Captain America, this is the history of the super soldier serum, and then they flash back and use him, I'm perfectly okay with that. But I don't want them to, like, because one thing I hate that they do about a lot of black characters in TV shows, even in movies sometimes, like if they have a sequel, they'll intentionally, like, just pretty much introduce another character that pulls the shine away from the primary character, and then it gets so, like, clouded with, you know, what's the point of all this, rather than I'd rather keep it clean. Like, you know, yes, we get the Falcon. I'm not saying can't have other black characters, but just don't put another big black character, pause, that sounded out of control for a second, and then but I don't want them to, like, to put a character that has, like, a ton of history and then put him up against the character that's supposed to be building his history. Then it's just like people are going to start to feel the Patriot, which is his name, by the way, Eli Bradley, you know, more than they are going to be feeling like, you know, the Falcon. And then that's going to be like, well, I don't want Falcon anymore. Then I don't want it to be one of those situations. So I hope they keep it relatively simple, relatively clean, and I think I'll be able to get over it for the most part.
Yeah, because I feel like Anthony Mackie hasn't really gotten his chance to shine really in the MCU.
That's a fact.
Like, he's always been in, like, Chris Evans' shadow, which is understandable because, you know, I mean, Chris Evans is Captain America. But, you know, I think this is his chance to shine, and I feel like you just said, introducing this character will definitely take away from that.
And I think he deserves it too, because, like, a lot of people don't know, like, Anthony Mackie can act his behind off. Like, he really does, like, have talent. And him and Sebastian are, like, they have really great chemistry, to be honest with you. So I can't even really be like, I want to see it. I want to see how they interact with each other. I want to see how their characters deal with a lot of the issues, because one of the plot points I think they revealed was basically on the show they're going to be dealing with the fact that a lot of people don't want him to be the new Captain America, but also, you know, there's going to be some, I guess, innuendos of, no, that's not even the right word, but there's going to be some small mentions or kind of hinting that some people just don't want it because he's black, which was one of the plot points in the comic too, where, you know, oh no, he's not my Captain America, you know, because he's black. Yeah. And it was just like, I know that's going to be a thing, and like I said, I want to see that because I know he's going to help bring those, you know, kind of perspectives to the screen, being a black superhero in a very predominantly white, Avengers team.
Yeah. I mean, if they display that in the show, that would be cool because, it would give a chance for black people to shine. Like, we can be main superheroes too. We ain't just got to be in the shadow of like a huge white superhero. We could be the main ones too. So I hope they display that in the series.
Who's the cast for this? Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie, Emily Van Camp. That's Sharon Carter. I want to know too what they're gonna do with her because basically Captain America left to be with her aunt, and that's very interesting. Wyatt Russell, U.S. agent. Daniel, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Bruhl. Baron Zemo. I think there's some other. I don't know how to say her name. Adepero. She's definitely African. Sarah Wilson and Batrak the Leaper. There's a couple. Okay. So I think the person who might be doing the whole Eli Bradley and his grandfather is going to be, I think, Clay Bennett and Carl Lumbly. Those are the only two other black, cast members besides Sarah Wilson, the African lady, who I think are going to be playing those two characters. So honestly, that's not a bad pick, actually. Let me see. Let me click his bio, actually. So he is 48, Toronto, Canada. Not surprised by that. He's relatively unknown. Alright, so this is actually not a bad choice. I prefer unknown characters for iffy or maybe characters that are not going to be used too heavily. So this can be a launching point for him. But he was in Total Drama Island, Flashpoint, Heroes Reborn, Jigsaw, Mother Up, and that's pretty much it. So he's not really too experienced.
I mean, one thing we can always count on with Disney or Marvel is that they have great casting. So,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure all of these people are gonna definitely make the show whole.
Oh, that's a fact. That's only them two. Let me see. Carl Lumbly, 61. Oh, this is Homeboy. This is Martian Manhunter. Okay. So this is the dude who played Martian Manhunter in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, as well as Martian Manhunter's father in the Supergirl series. So, you already know his. We definitely gonna get a good little show right now. God, no, like.
Facts, definitely.
Yeah, he about to wild out. Yeah, him. I mess with him heavy. He's out of control. So we gonna have a fire show. Now, my faith in the show is definitely like a good 90% now, just from reading, just for the fact that I know this is the cast. And everybody else I don't really care for. Wait, hold on. Let me see who Sarah Wilson is actually. Oh, she's from Brooklyn. All right, cool.
And part of you had any disbelief that this show was going to flop?
A little bit, because I know sometimes too, like, they don't really put as much effort into, like, I'm not going to say Marvel or, they definitely do. No matter what show or movie they do, they put like 100%, which is why they're successful. But I think too, the issue is people don't understand like the nuances of being black sometimes. Like, you ever seen a black character and it was like, nah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why I think Jordan Peele's movies were like so successful is because that's like the definition of being black. Like, everything, like, not everything, because one, he was with some white woman in the middle of Get Out, and then that was already problematic a little bit, being the only dude there. So that was a little questionable. But
yeah,
in terms of like the character, the way he was written, his his behavior was very like, alright, cool, I know he's black. But then, there's some other shows or other movies you be like, that's very, look at your skin tone, you're doing white things. Like, no, I don't want that. So I know, like, that's my biggest fear, honestly. But I actually have a pretty good my faith has been restored in this completely almost. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I actually want to see how this turns out. But yeah, that's pretty much it about the cast. Let me see. Anything else? No, that's pretty much about it. So it's not a super large cast. It's relatively small cast for the most part. So they're keeping it simple. All right, cool. But not too much to say about Elijah Bradley. There's not much information about the show. So, like I said, it's very chill. First episode of the podcast. I'm not going to bombard y'all. But I want to transition a little bit over to the conspiracy side of this. Now, this is not going to be like a super mega conspiracy like, the 5G towers and the reason for the coronavirus and I'm gonna
all that jazz
and all that tomfoolery. But this is an article where it says, why don't black people see UFOs? And my only thing is, I know a lot of black people probably don't believe in aliens. There are some of us that do. I'm one of them. But also, I know a lot of black people just be like, nah, there's no way. And that could be more for religious reasons than it is for personal reasons. But here's something I think a lot of y'all might want to at least think about, or the reason why supposedly we don't see it. So apparently, because of the melanin in our skin, the rays that they use to become visible, like, we absorb too much of it. So basically we can't see them compared to white people who light bounces off of their skins. So they can see it because light is reflecting back and allowing those UV to reach the subject again. And I was just like, that's kind of dumb. But do you think it's entirely possible that, you know, something like this could happen? Like, what if, let's say hypothetically in this world there's aliens. We know there's aliens, but do you think that's like entirely possible? Your skin color makes you more susceptible to seeing UFOs?
I mean, you know, I think it's entirely possible because, like me, see, I'm in between, so I can like kind of see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not dark enough to not see it, but I'm not like white enough to see it completely. So like, I can kind of see it. You feel me?
I feel like, would that be the reason why like it's only white people recording the alien? You know, like those UFO videos that you see. Like, it's usually only like white people. Like, do you think that's the reason why? Because they can see it.
I mean, anything. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked at anything anymore. Because, like, I mean, and who knows? Maybe black people can see UFOs. But what if their opinions or whatever they thought that they saw was suppressed? You get what I'm saying? Like, they said, like, oh, I seen this UFO, whatever, all this other. And they're like, you know what? No, you didn't see anything. They just try to convince them that they're crazy. So, like, they just act like they can't see them. Or that's another thing.
Here's something crazier. Because this article was supposedly written in 2009. What if, ever since, you know, the introduction of the internet, you know, where obviously black people usually tend to set trends, you know, the minority group as a whole, we tend to set trends in general. What if, like you said, they're suppressing, you know, our belief in UFOs because they know if we really wanted to, we can launch a serious investigation via like those internet FBI agents, like, you know, those people who just go online, search up details and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they're using us to kind of keep information from getting out there on the internet.
I mean, who knows? But it's like there's so many videos of like UFO sightings.
But also, so, like, they'll always say it's like a weather balloon, or it's been debunked, or they always find some reason to say like it's not what we think it is for some reason.
That's true. That's true. Wait, wasn't there an article that just came out like the other day that there was a UFO sighting?
There was? Hold on, let me see.
It wasn't that long ago. I feel like I just saw this. Or it had something to do with within this time period, like over the next 3 months or something like that.
Oh, there was. Like, the UFO in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah, there was on December 29th. That's crazy. It says, hold on, let me see what the article says. So it says, we might be able to check it off the box on December 29th at roughly 8:30 p.m. local time. Eyewitnesses on the Hawaiian island of, I'm going to butcher that name, so I'm not going to say it, spotted an unidentified flying subject in the night sky, prompting several 911 calls. As reported by Hawaii News, the UFO, which was caught on video, had a glowing blue oblong form described by one onlooker as larger than a telephone pole. It sailed across the sky for several miles before crashing silently into the sea. Ooh, this is a good one. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if we can get the video. Let me see. Hold on, I'm about to share my screen with you. You about to watch this. Let me see something. There's no sound.
Oh, nah.
That looks crazy.
That looks crazy.
Oh, nah. That looks like a frisbee a little bit too.
Kind of.
But that's kind of far up though.
It is pretty far up. You imagine somebody was just like flying like a glow-in-the-dark kite?
I was thinking that, but you see, maybe that's the government trying to trick us. Like, oh, there's a reasonable explanation. Like, but it said it crashed into the ocean though. I just wish like I knew how far out that thing fell, because you know kites can only get but so high, and then it can't be a drone either because drones can only get but so high as well.
That's a fact.
So I'm trying to figure out like,
if she was recording with a phone camera, which I'm almost positive she was, things look a lot farther on the phone than they do to the naked eye.
That's true.
So that could have been a lot closer than we can see right here in this video. I mean, maybe it was just a guy on a boat and he decided, you know what, I'm just going to fly this kite right now on a boat.
not for him being out there like, yeah, I'm just going to fly this kite. But my thing is, what gets me so tight is like, yo, despite every technology we have, like it was this 2020 video and you telling me none of them have the camera with the night vision? Like, come on, like, or the low light camera, like you could have got a better shot or something. Like, why is it in 2020 we can't get any solid, like, you know, all right, cool, this might be an alien because, you know, my camera shoots in fucking 4K.
Well, I guess in their defense, I'm gonna come to their defense to be like a little, you know, unbiased. Maybe when you see something like that, like your first instinct is not to be like, oh, let me find my night vision camera. You know what I'm saying? I kind of just want to stare at this because I can't believe it.
I feel you, but it's like, you saw, like, we're watching the video now. It's like she was recording for like a good 2-3 minutes, and that's just what they showed on the news. So it's like
she's on the street.
Wouldn't a party would just be like, yo, let me switch my cameras? It's literally just swiping to the left or right depending on your phone and just getting a better camera. So I'm just like, let me see. Had no aircraft disappear off radars and no reports of overdue and missing aircraft. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It looks like,
I don't know.
It looks like a frisbee a little bit though. Like, you see like how it's slanted. Like,
I don't know. I don't see frisbee. I see the like it kind of looks like honestly like a kite. It looks like there's like a top to it, and then like there's like stuff that is like swaying from the left to the right, like the wind is blowing or something.
Yeah, like that's because like the way it's moving does not. I don't know. It could be.
But because the thing is, it's like, it's not like if you were to see maybe like in all the videos I've seen of like the frisbee looking UFOs, they usually look like right side up. They're not really like slanted like that for mad long. So it kind of makes me think that that's like right side up for that UFO. But also, maybe it was just like some long can looking kind of thing.
But also too, it's like, what makes this like, how come you can see the light for like so far out? Like, let's say, all right, I'm gonna take a page out your book, right? So let's say if that is like a regular kite, how come it's so bright that someone can see it from miles away on a kite?
Well, and like I said, we don't know how far that truly is, because like if she was able to get a pretty good picture using digital zoom on her phone, it couldn't have been that far. Like, I've gotten more blurry shots at a concert using digital zoom, so it couldn't have been that far. And I feel like, I don't know, this probably made it inside the Earth's atmosphere. I don't think this was like in space. I think this was actually like in the sky.
Yeah, it seems like, I think the article too, it says the sightings are not likely extraterrestrial in nature, as is the case of most UFOs. In fact, some internet sleuths have already pre-offered a plausible explanation. The floating blue object bears resemblance to an LED kite, like you said.
Yeah, who knows?
Oh nah, I just dropped something. Let me see. Yeah, could be. Like I said, I'm not crazy about this, you know, in the image, like, but I feel like, you know, I agree with you though. I definitely don't feel like it's a UFO, but, you know, who's to say? We really don't know. And maybe our perceptions of UFOs are not as, you know, what we think it is. It could be objects that fly like that through space. Maybe it's for, you know, there's really no air in space, so it doesn't have to necessarily be aerodynamic.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So who's to say? Who really knows? The secrets are really, a part of the universe, and I guess we have not transcended to that fifth dimension where our knowledge allows us to travel in space. But
I'm one of those firm believers that the universe is like infinite. Like we've only probably broken through like a very, very small percentage, like a 5% of space, if that.
Technically, they say, I thought to cut you off, dumb. But technically, I think what they say is space is forever expanding in terms of, even though technically space is not infinite right now, but because we could never reach the end of the universe, the end of space, by definition, it is infinite because, space is forever expanding. So we'll never be able to reach the end of the universe, unless somehow we manage to, warp travel at, speeds, 400 times light speed or something like that. But we would never reach the end of the universe in anyone's lifetime ever. And so in theory, yes, the universe is infinite. So who's to say? I'm pretty sure there are other planets in the universe, in the in the multiverse. Who's to say? Because there's other galaxies and stuff.
Yeah, multiverse. I'm a very strong believer in multiverse too.
So there could be could be a mirror situation like they do in comic books, where there's other versions of you that made different choices, or just could just be another universe out there where maybe you don't exist at all, but then there's just different versions of life. We never know. There might be.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk forever about this, honestly. Like I also have like this like thing where like when you look into the mirror and like you walk away from the mirror, that's like a parallel universe is also walking away from the mirror, and like he goes back into like his normal life, and I just go back to whatever I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever had like a weird urge to go check yourself in the mirror?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, like you ever felt like that came from somewhere else?
I think that sometimes. I think too, even like it's actually a show I was just watching like last night. I just finished just like binging the last 6 episodes. But it's a show called The Order on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then basically he was saying like he speculated even the afterlife was like a collective conscious of the universe, where like your creativity, your ideas sometimes can flow from either memories from the past, present, or future, or from other versions of yourself. And obviously the ideas of the other version of yourself, you resonate with them more because that is a version of you, a choice you could have made. So it's always a possibility that you still might be able to come up with that idea or make that choice. But I was like, that's a dope, interesting way of doing it, because according to science, we're all beings of matter, and matter, byproduct creates energy. So in theory, we all beings of energy.
Of course. I mean, what do they use to jumpstart our hearts? Electricity.
Feel me? Even the process in which we think, electrical energy is coursing through our brains to send energy through all over the brain to allow us to tap into the whole concept of thinking, being creative. So who's to say that energy in our brain is allowing us to tap into this general subconscious of the universe? Who's to say? We really don't know.
We have absolutely no idea. It's just so crazy because like you ever had a dream where everybody in your dream looks like a stranger? You have no idea who they are, but yet you're in the dream, and it's like them. Yeah. You know them. They represent somebody. You have no idea who that person is, but you know them. You're talking to them. You're chilling with them. It's like sometimes it feels so real, like you've been friends with them for like your entire life. Now, supposedly what I read is that when you see people on the street, like you don't register it, but your brain does. So like sometimes you'll see these people in your dreams that you have seen on the street. You saw them in your peripheral. Maybe you saw them, like you looked past them, but like your brain saved them, but you didn't. So like that's what those people could represent. But I don't know. I just feel like there's just something like deeper than that.
I feel like when people say you have deja vu moments, now the scientific definition is that your brain took a second to process longer than usual, so it feels like you experienced that moment again.
Twice. Yeah,
but
I've
in reality,
definitely heard
but I've had deja vu moments. Like, it wasn't like just in that day. I've had several moments where I've been like, yo, I've been at this same spot, had the same conversation, and I've actually said something before the person was able to get it out their mouth. And I was like, yo, I was about to say that, because I felt like I've literally lived that entire moment, like, again. Not just like not feeling like I lived it again. Like, I literally have memory of doing it. Like, I think there was one time when we went to Century 21. What was it, on 42nd Street? And then, like, I remember having a dream at the same time, because I think we went to what was it, Five Guys before? I forgot.
Yeah.
And then, like, we walked into Century 21 because I think we was with Manolo and he wanted to like shop for a coat. He was wearing that beige coat.
Oh, Forever 21.
Forever. I said Century 21. I think it was Forever 21. Yeah, you're right. But I know something 21.
Well, it could have been H&M too, honestly.
Could have been. But it was either one of those. It was definitely one of those stores. But we was in there shopping, looking in the mirror, and I had memory like, yo, we did this before. Like, and I was just like, at that same time with the same group of people, and I was just like, nah, there's no way. And I was literally like, for a good 10 minutes, I was just out of it. Like, yo, I could have sworn we've been here before. And I think I asked him, like, did we come here before?
Yeah. I've had those moments before 1,000 times. Like, I literally have like whole like remember conversations. Remember I was wearing the same thing, and like like you just said, like you literally remember it as soon as it's about to happen. Like right when the person is about to talk, you saw them at that same angle. They had the same background. Like, it's just like insane. And I refuse to believe that your brain just had a delay. Because how do you remember an entire situation? You telling me you delayed for 10 minutes?
And that's the explanation they're giving us. And I personally don't believe it either. Like, I feel like I truly believe, like, and obviously we went into a rant, but this is the fun part of conspiracy theories where you can just talk about anything. But you know, I truly do believe, like, you know, the concept of us not being able to see, like, you know, UFOs because of our skin color. We really don't know, like, the overall totality of the universe and, like, how it works, which is why I think, like, situations like UFOs and deja vu moments are, like, so hard to pin down, and the reason why they happen. Some people feel like, too, it's the Mandela effect. You're literally shifting and phasing through reality at certain specific moments. And some people believe, like, you know, we're not natively living in, you know, the universe that we probably originated from.
Of course. I think about that all the time.
And I'm
like there's like small things like a Pikachu not having a black tip on the tail. Yeah. I remember the black tip. And supposedly he never had one. You know? Or the Monopoly guy having a monocle.
I remember that too. And then also, what was it, that whole thing with what was the other one too? Everyone kept going crazy over the whole Shazam and Kazam thing. With what was it, Sinbad? And I was just like, I remember both. I remember Shaq did a movie called Kazam, and then Sinbad was doing something called Shazam. But then apparently there's like thousands and thousands of people who don't remember that. Yeah, I know. And I'm just like, that's out of control. So like literally at any point you could be walking down the street, and in theory, like, you can just shift into a whole nother universe where, like, for the most part your life is relatively the same, but there's some small differences and you're remembering bits of another universe. So it's just like, that's out of control. Like, and to think about it, like, if you sit and really think about it and get deep into it, you would definitely give yourself anxiety, like, thinking about it, because it's just like, you really don't know, like, if you could be in another universe.
Of course.
Like, that's trippy.
You also had somebody who swore up and down they know you, but you've never seen them before.
That's a fact.
And they like remember details that I'm pretty sure they, like, I've never told this guy this stuff. Like, how do they know this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a friend that said that he met a guy on a bridge, and like he knew details about his life, and he's never seen him before. He's like, I've never met this. He said, it's like, yo, I've never met you before. I have no idea who you are. He knew his father's name. He knew who he was. He knew what school he went to. He swore up and down he knew him, but he never met him before.
And that's crazy.
And I'm just like, that's really, really trippy.
Like, I remember there's also another show on Netflix called The Nun, Now, obviously, this is not my perception of it, but they were saying like, basically like people's perception of like angels and demons are just creatures from alternate dimensions, and obviously history, due to our lack of intelligence at the time, they were perceived a certain kind of way. Now, I'm not referring to the creatures, directly, but I think like, during a certain point in history, that's when like I feel like the more educated we got, and the more in tune and the more aligned our brains get with like the universe, that's when more and more of these events start happening.
It's crazy.
And that's what like kind of makes it scary, because like because they always say that, like we're never, I say never, but in the far future, maybe we'll be able to go through space travel. But also, wouldn't you think that's the reason why like those portals, those dimensions, and us being able to travel at light speed became accessible to us because we ourselves became more accessible to the universe? So that's why I'm like, and that's also why I think too, people who are very creative, like in the movie Soul, when they was like talking about like that place you go to when you're just in your zone, but there's a reason why like you have like almost this out of body experience, because like you're just tapping into something, because your brain is just like, it's just going. So just like, dang, that's really crazy. Like
that is crazy. I've definitely had a lot of those moments before. You just space out, but like you're not in your body. Like you're just like in this whole nother world. And then like somebody just like, hey, and it's like, oh, it's like you just woke up, but you weren't asleep.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like you were you were conscious. Like you knew that you were, I don't know, I guess like sitting in your bedroom or something, but it's like you weren't there for those like 2 minutes or whatever.
And that also could be why we could be shifting from universe to universe. When you have those out of body experiences, then the reason why you feel like you're living it twice is because maybe you're still bound, in some way, shape, or form to like your other universe body. And then like you still have that connection. So like I think it's possible too, like we could be shifting in and out of bodies from like alternate versions of ourselves, just because when we get to certain points in our lives, our brain opens up, and then we're ready to transition to another point in our life that may not be accessible in that universe for us.
I know. I have this like whole thing about like dreams. Is that like maybe like dreams are like memories instead of like you dreaming it.
That's true. Maybe
what I'm saying?
I'm hoping there's a world out there where I have powers.
I mean, who knows? You never know. I had a dream last night. Obviously nowhere near compared to your powers, but I had a dream last night that my hair was like a completely different color, and it's like I've remembered it being that color since I was born. Like I didn't find it weird. Like it was like a very like a light brown, and I had it a completely different style, but nothing about it in the dream was weird to me. So I'm just like, what if that was just a memory? What if there's an alternate universe where I do have this, like, I look different, and that was just like, I'm remembering that part of that version of me.
This is very succulent stuff right here. I don't know, maybe I'll make the podcast solely about stuff like that. But I guess to tie everything together for the sake of the podcast, comic books may not be fake. When we're tapping in to those creative juices, because if you notice, a lot of comic books, they talk about real life subjects, but then situations happen a little bit differently. If we are to believe the theory that the universe, the afterlife, is all a giant subconscious for the universe, then who's to say that Captain America doesn't exist? Who's to say that Isaiah Bradley doesn't exist? Who's to say the Falcon doesn't exist? These could be people that we're tapping into to tell stories in our version of the universe. So you never know. But if you enjoyed this, this is this first episode of the podcast. I actually like that second half. I like vibing with stuff like that. I think a lot more people need to hear stuff like that. But
I've been going forever about that.
That's a fact. So I'm like, but if you enjoy the first episode of the podcast, like I said, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed it, I'm going to be doing this. I'm trying to do it twice a month. Obviously, if this begins to become a hit, And I feel like it's something people want to see on a weekly basis. I'll see how that works out, see what scheduling looks like, and then I'll try and squeeze it in on a weekly basis. I feel like people deserve that. But also, you can just check out my homeboy Mike. Give me your social medias and all that stuff, so that way they can check you out and everything that you're doing on your end.
Alrighty, guys. I hope you have a pen and paper out. My IG is _I am Michelangelo. It is spelled exactly the way it sounds. There's not one M, there's two M to signify the end of am and the beginning of Michael. That is my tag everywhere on all social media platforms. Feel free to follow, give me a listen, hit me up if you just want to chat. If you want to discuss further to what we discussed today in the podcast, me and Devon T. Johnson, feel free. I am here for you.
I don't know, maybe we should, like I said, I think that's a dope aspect to it, having a talk about the universe. I think a lot of people confuse religion with spirituality and understanding of the universe. So I think it's a very nice little subject that I think a lot of people might be into. But be back for the next one. So today is, the day we're recording it is the 5th, but I'm probably going to drop this on either the 6th or the 7th. And I guess the next one will probably be the 21st. Let me know in the comments down below if you want any subject matters covered specifically, as well as if you enjoyed the second segment, or if you just like, this kind of loose feeling. Let me know, and then also send suggestions on the Anchor podcast with the voice message feature, and we will catch you in the next podcast episode. Oh, peace out. Gotta give him a little sign off, handle.
Sign off. You wildin' if you thought I was doing all that.